this last one that I'll do in this session, but these video clips of each tree are going to get posted separately anyway, but this is the last one I'm doing in this session. This is my Acer palmatum Deshojo, so it's actually a named variety. Has brilliant red foliage when it opens, it's gorgeous, and beautiful autumn colours too, so it's got quite a lot going for it, this. This I bought at an auction when I was with Wessex Bonsai Society, when I actually belonged, and one of the main characters there basically just dropped dead at the ripe old age of 46, and he had renowned plants, I think is the expression, plants that were known in the bonsai world around the world, not just in his back garden. A very, very, very prominent figure. And as I said, he just went, and the heart and soul went out of that society such that I left. I just couldn't get on with it anymore. But I was determined to come away from that auction with a, sorry, it was Manuel, not Malcolm, I was just thinking of the chairman now, Manuel, Spanish guy, and I was determined to have one of his plants, and so I bid quite high on it, but for the size and form of this tree I did not pay as much as you would. If this tree was at Peter Chan's nursery, Heron Bonsai, you'd pay £2,500–3,000 for that tree. It's mature, it's probably 30 years old, maybe more. It has structure in many places, and it has the spreading look of a mature maple tree, unlike the previous ones we looked at, which have got the long skinny trunks with a couple of branches sticking out. This looks more like a maple would look at a ripe old age. What are you? Sorry, I can see a bug. Harmless enough, I suppose. Right, so structure of this tree. This is actually the back of the tree, but I want to do this first because I've got some very long extensions that I don't want. So I can just take them off straight away. But this one goes back to a rather bare bit on this branch, and it has two buds near the start. Excellent. Love it when something actually works. I'm pruning this one a little late. As you can see, the leaves are actually open in places, which means the energy is already pushed into this area. This should have been done a couple of weeks ago, but because I don't go out in the garden anymore, because I don't smoke, I hadn't realised it was this far advanced. But we'll, it's not too late. It's not like I left it so late it's going to ruin the growth this year. It's just could have done with being done a bit earlier, really. Not too much though. It's not the end of the world, as I said. It's I'm just looking at where it's shot out and can I keep bits. See, I've got a whole new branch here coming out from the trunk, but it's so close to the other one it can't stay, which is a shame. If that had been an inch higher, that would have been a brand new branch to fill in that gap there, or to come out here. This is somewhere where I would like a branch to come out, but as I said, we are looking at the back of the tree at the moment, and while I'm round here we'll do the top bits. I'm not being very careful with the top bits because this shoots out like mad near the top, and I usually end up cutting it back 2 or 3 times a year. It's a bit vigorous. Yeah, now I need to look at it from the other side now, so I'll turn it around. I know I'm probably standing in your way. Normally I would work like this, but then you can't see the tree that I'm working on. You can't see its overall shape. So let's have a look at its shape now. And what we've got here is a good root spread. Yeah, we've got a branch off of a branch, which is a no-no, but it has become my lowest branch, and it's done it successfully. When this opens up, that is a gorgeous layered branch, and it's the lowest one on the tree, but it's not coming off the trunk. It's cheating, but it's hidden by this one which is coming off the trunk, so I'm just about getting away with it. And I'm still debating. See, strictly speaking, this needs to come off. It's no good. Can I do it this year? I've got quite a few new bits growing out. I've got back budding here now, which I haven't had before. which will fill in this branch quite nicely. I need this bit round here to come into this area, otherwise that would be empty. This bit's okay as it is. That's, when that comes into leaf, that looks quite nice. This big long one here, what do I do with that? I need that bit off, I really do. So perhaps we are going to use the big stuff then. Yeah, last year I was desperate to get something to grow in this area, but now it's done it, it makes that branch or that piece superfluous. So we will take it off with the big stuff, which is like that. And then what we do is we get the knob cutter and we hollow it out. So we start nibbling at it to take it down and make it a recess over the length of that branch. Yeah, and then the bark will grow over it and make it look far more natural. And I'm going to have to get the smaller ones out because these are so clumsy to work with, but they take the big bite out, the bit that's not possible to do with the smaller ones. And then you can nibble away with the smaller ones and just get a nice sort of recess. Because if you don't, whatever shape you leave there will stay. So if you don't get it how you want it now, when the bark grows over it, it'll still look like it does now, but with the bark growing over it. So it does pay to work on it while you're there. And just get it to sink in, like that. That's not too bad. We'll leave it at that, and then we get sticky fingers and we get our Japanese cut paste, which I hope is still usable. Yeah. Now this stuff's pretty special stuff because this is it's like a glue. Gets stuck to all your fingers. And it seals the wound. It's got antibacterial, antifungal type properties. So we pay not to get it in your mouth. Yeah? But what else has it got that's really useful? It's got hormones and things that encourage the bark to grow over the damaged area. So it's actually very good stuff. And all the writing on it's in Japanese, so I can't tell you what's in it, because I don't know. Right, where did we get to? That's that chunk off. This branch will now layer a bit better this year than it did last year, and that large cut won't be as visible next year. It will this year, but next year it will have branches around it and covering it. Did a bit. Now I've got a lot of back budding in this little bit here, and I'm leaving all of it to see which bits grow best, and then we'll decide which ones we're going to keep later, but not now. I want to see which bits grow, because they're new. I haven't had any growth in this area for years, and now I've got some, so let's let it go and see what happens. We've got new branches coming out in many places, including places that I will use. I'm going to keep that one. I'm not going to leave it as long as that, but I'm going to push it so that the buds there come out and the buds there come out. And then I may take this section off later when these have come out and started to spread. A new little layer in there would look nice. And if it grows nicely, this stumpy bit can come off. I've only left that there to see if I could get some back budding and make it look better. But we can't have new growths coming out in all places. I would like that, if that one went there, that would fill in a nice little gap and produce a nice little inner layer. But it's not pointing in the right direction, but the one just behind it is. So if we take this one right off, it's back to the trunk, and let that little one grow and see if it'll fill that gap. That's a year, you know, it's a year away, it's not a now thing. That one's pointing downwards, so that's no good to man or beast. Grab that off. This long one, I'm going to leave it on the ground. Again, it could replace that stumpy bit. I'd really like to take that bit off, but I don't want to take it yet because there's some buds there that are drawing. So we'll leave that. We'll just leave that as an extension and see what it does next. This bit's ugly. Don't like it at all. Like if I take it out, there's a big hole in the tree, so I can't take it out. But what I'm doing is bushing it so that it's disguised once the leaves come out. You can see, like on this bit, look at the mass of buds in this area. Now as these all grow, some of these are going to have to come off, but again, wait and see which bits grow best and which bits are not doing so well, and then take off the weaker bits, let the strong bits grow. Let the tree decide. You can play with it, you can force it to do what you want, but sometimes it's better to just let it do its own thing. You're sticking out far too much now. I've turned it round, I can see it, and so are you. Come on too. Right, overall dome shape, where each branch forms a dome. Sometimes it can be quite a tall dome, sometimes it's a flat dome, but a balance is required, which you can never really see properly until the leaves come out, and they're going to be out soon. So do we want the tree to grow any taller? No. So where do we stop it growing taller? We stop it growing taller there. And as we've got a new growth coming out to the side, we can take that whole section off, right back to there. So we'll take that bit off. Now that bit's out of the way, I can get at this bit. That's that bit gone. Too much there. Back in. Back in. Coming back in towards the trunk. No, get out. Not much else needs to be done at this time of year. It's now a matter of wait and see where it pushes its energy. Where is it going to push hardest? Yeah? And are those the bits where I want it to push hard? And if they are, great. If they're not, push them back again. This branch here has started to bud at the base. This is what I was after. I've been all the time trying to push it back in. This branch has no back budding at all, apart from this lanky little spindly thing, but at least it's trying. Yeah? This one's back budded really well. This one has. This one has. This one has. This one has got one. One back bud near back towards the trunk. And this big fat one round the back has got nothing. But all of that is better than it was last time round. So it's getting better. Getting better all the time, this tree. I was just going to say, what's this bit hanging down? It's the bit I cut off. Didn't think it grew like that. And then the only thing we've got to do is think about this stump, which I don't want to leave, because it's died back basically. So where do I take it back to? Do I take it right back to here and let this thicken up and become a new layer here, which would look nice? Take it right back, I'll end up with an ugly stump. So I'd rather just take it back to where these new growths are shooting out and see what happens. Come back to it. That's dead right back into that knot there. It's still dead, so it's probably going to die back anyway. We've got dead part inside the trunk, and this bit's never been right. But I can't take it right off. If I take it right off back to here and just leave this bit will fill out okay. That'll be good, but I'll have nothing coming out the front of the tree except this nice plate, this nice layer here, which does look really nice when it comes out into leaf. So that's that one done. This at the moment weighs an absolute ton because it is absolutely soaking wet, which is not good, but now it's going to start using the water up. Yeah, it's in a very shallow pot, and the reason it was put like that was to get a pot that reflected the shape of the tree. A little squat pot would have looked silly. I always think that maples look better in round or oval pots, preferably oval, and shallow, so that they look like they're sitting on a hill. That's how I like them. But again, you don't sit them in the middle of the pot. You try and balance their first and second branch so that the first and the second branch just hang over the edge of the pot roughly the same amount, which means offsetting the tree from the centre of the pot. And in this case, this tree is slightly dominant this side because of this lower branch, which I like. Yeah, so that's why it was offset, and that's the way it was grown. I do believe once upon a time it was growing on a rock, and the rock got taken off, which is why it's hollow underneath. Yeah, and it's got lots of spreading roots. Yeah, I quite like that one. It's still not right, but its shape was totally ruined by neglect. This is now the 3rd year since I started training it again, and it's still nowhere near as good as it once was, but it's getting there. Slowly but surely it's getting there. So that's that one.